Hi, good afternoon. Been a funny week all round, which is why you've not heard from me. This is one reason why I never set a day that I'm going to put a video up, because I can't always make it. This week's been a rather hectic week. They're still doing the windows and things. We had problems, nothing to do with the workmen, all to do with the fact that my house was built in 1937. Seems to be falling to bits and doesn't have a straight corner anywhere in the house. So obviously when you're trying to fit sort of perfectly level windows into a house that slants a bit, the poor workmen have had no end of difficulty. The front window had to come out again and then go back in again because it was out. They put it in level with what the house was, so in actual fact, although it looked level, there was gaps at either side of the window because it wasn't. They've had a lot of problems. The front door's given them the most problems because apparently my front wall is bowing. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's bowing. So when you want to put a perfectly straight front door into a house that's got a bowing wall, you either put the door in crooked or you put the door in straight, and you have to do a lot of remedial work. Which of course, being professional workmen, they're having to do remedial work. So at the moment everything is, oh sorry, that's one of my doors creaking. We don't have ghosts. This is another thing we noticed about the house. None of the doors in this house stay open. And because they're in need of a bit of, lubrication, oil, WD-40, they tend to make rather loud groaning noises when they open. And one of my friends used to be terrified. She used to swear we had poltergeists, but we don't. It's just the doors and the slanting house. Anyway, what have I been up to? Well, not a lot. Things have been going on and one thing and another, but I have managed to finish off the cardigan that I was making. I won't be doing another one of these in a hurry, not because I hated the pattern, but because it was so big. Apologies to all of you larger ladies. I'm a fluffy one myself. But it has turned out quite large, so I won't be in a rush. It just needs buttons at the moment. I won't be in a rush to do another one of those quickly for orders, unless somebody gets on their knees and begs and pleads. The problem being, of course, it takes me so long. And crocheters, you're a crocheter, you're crafters yourself. You can't charge for hours that you put into things. You just have to charge a flat rate for everything. And if you charge a lot more for a bigger size, it looks like you're being sizist or you're being discriminatory just because people are fluffier, So it does make it a bit difficult for me. Anyway, enough moaning and groaning. That's the pattern. Probably the last time you'll see this pattern, so please write it down. I'm often being accused of flashing it by too quickly. So there you go, here it is. It's a sunbeam pattern and it's 1717. It's an old pattern, but you may still find it on eBay. And it's got 3 garments on it. So that's the end of that one. I keep my buttons in these sort of containers in the garage. I've got loads of them. I keep buying them. Every time I go up the village, there's a cheaper shop that sells this sort of thing. And I always buy two, maybe 3. A month maybe. When I get paid, I go mad. So I'm hoping when I get my craft room, that I'll be able to put things in a better order. At the moment I'm having to scramble past my scooter and scramble past a lot of things that are stored in the garage just to get to my buttons. Anyway, those are the buttons I've chosen. Sorry about the bit and fingernail, but those are the buttons I've chosen to go on the cream cardigan. It's just a matter. I mean, these would have been a better colour, but they're too big. So, isn't it always the way when you look in your stash? Because I can't get out, because I can't get to shops, I have got a tremendous amount of stash of buttons. Because again, if I'm looking online and I see something, I think, I'm going to get those. So I get them in a variety of colours or something like that. And then I usually find when I'm doing something that they're the wrong colour or they're the wrong size. Compromise. I buy a lot of buttons that are like mother of pearl buttons, bigger ones than this usually. because they shine different colours and they do go on quite a few. You know those colours where you simply cannot find a button that matches? And not everybody wants you to put a shiny metal one on it. Well, metallic I should say, they're not proper metal these days. Anyway, the yarn I would used for the cream one is out of my lovely bag by Erin, Gimme Yarn 418. She's on Etsy as Southpaw Designs, I think. She makes lovely project bags, as do a lot of other people, of course. And this one's lined with pink, and she made it with my logo on it, which was Urban Gypsy Crochet, which is very nice. And this is the yarn that I used for the cream. It's actually, it says Super Soft Baby Double Knitting by James C. Brett, but I have to say, although it's lovely and firm for the ladies' cardigan, it's a little bit, it's not scratchy, it's beautifully soft, but it's a bit firm, if you know what I mean, for a baby. That's what I've used. James C. Brett don't have names, they just have shades, and this is RB20. I mean, I've had James C. Brett's Baby Double Knit before, and it's been a lot softer than this, so maybe this is just a one-off. Yeah. Well, I know I'm late to the party. As usual, I'm always late to the party. I'm actually doing my first virus shawl. I found some yarn, again it's James C. Brett, called Moonlight Sonata. I don't even think that they do it anymore. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's several on the market that are very, very similar to this. It's 10% mohair, 10% wool, 75 acrylic, and I think it's 5% metallic. That'll be the little gold threads in it. Anyway, I'm using the video by Lisa's Pine Notes, and she also kindly has made a chart. So, because the video obviously doesn't go all the way through the chart, the scarf. Well, I don't think it does. I stopped anyway. Maybe it does, Lisa. I'm sorry if it goes all the way through, but I stopped when I got the gist of it. But I prefer to use a chart, so I'm using a chart. So this is where I've got so far. Don't worry about it. There's nobody here. That's just the door closing on its own. That's what I'm up to so far, which I think is very, very pretty. It's not my colour, so it will be going on Etsy when it's finished. It's taken a lot of manpower hours because it's the first one I've done, and I think, you know, you get more into the pattern the more you do. I did start another one. I've had this yarn a long, long time. Sylvia's daughter Kath, who's a friend of mine, not on YouTube, but she's a friend of mine in person. Her daughter went through a phase of dyeing yarn, and I don't think you can get it anymore because I think she stopped doing it now. It's called Six Swans, and it's superwash merino sock yarn, and it was called Carnival. And she sent it to me quite a long, long time ago when I was in the sock knitting mood. But of course I sort of went off knitting socks because I don't really wear them, to be quite truthful. So I decided I would start to see what it looks like. It does show up. Oh, I can't show you against my top, can I? It does show up, but I think that the shawl is looking nicer, you know, with the gradient colours. I mean, I'll probably finish it because I like this one. This one will be one for me because I like bright colours. But I think, you know, it just shows that when you're choosing a yarn for this virus shawl, you know, either choose a plain shade or choose a shade with a long, you know, gradient colour change. Yeah, so that's what it looks like when it's in like a... It would have been nice knitted, it would have been great in socks, but it's just a bit short-changed for... Short-changed? Short length. No, I haven't been short-changed, it was a gift. So that's the... I think the colours are absolutely gorgeous. And there's such a lot in it. Yeah, there's 400 metres in the ball, so there's absolutely... I think that was one reason why I didn't decide to make socks with it. Because I thought, well, I've only got tiny feet, which is lovely when you're making socks, isn't it? And I don't like long socks, I only like short, sort of just over my ankle socks. Because although I've got small feet, tiny feet, I've got wide calves. So I'd have to knit my socks in rather a strange shape. They'd be bigger at the top than they'd go in, you know. You know what I mean. Anyway, so that's why I didn't use it for socks, because I thought it was far too pretty to go inside my shoes. The only other thing that I've got this week is I bought the latest inside crochet. They must be bringing these out fairly rapidly, because it just seems like 2 minutes since I showed you the last two. This one is issue, I think it says 51. I haven't got my glasses on, of course, as usual. I think it's issue 51. It did have stitch markers, but they're in the kitchen somewhere. Isn't that glorious? It's actually a rug. Oh, it's glorious. But I daren't make one because I trip over a pin, a hair. So I know for a fact I would just trip over a rug. It's got some nice things in it. It's got your usual pages of, you know, what's going on and what's happening. And what I like about this magazine is they do give you lists here of what's happening all around the country, you know, in the UK. Because with me not being in the loop kind of thing, I'm always the last one to know. Poppy, please sit down. She was heading straight for the tripod there. The dogs are here with me because the family's gone to some kind of a Glastonbury type festival. There's Luz Mendoza. I mean, I've used a couple of her patterns in the past, an article about her. The little bow ties are just little samples of what's new yarn out. Again, there's just things to buy, more things to buy. And that's advertising the Knitting and Stitching show in Alexandra Palace. I would love to go there one year, because one year Doris Chan was there one year. And then I could write this article, Confessions of a Pattern Collector, because I've got nearly all of those vintage patterns, I've got them. So, this one's called Catch the Sun, which is a bit daft because it's a poncho and it's really meant for autumn. So I'm not sure where they got that title. That one I do like. That's cardigan. I think it starts top down, I think, yoke down, that one. And that one's, I was looking if it was a crocheted skirt, but actually it's the bag you're supposed to be looking at. That's my only peeve with inside crochet. You have to guess which is a crochet. That's the scarf that's on the cover. And that's a granny square cardigan, which, you know, inevitably everybody... I haven't got one at the minute, so I'm going to have to make myself one. But I can't get to my scraps in the garage at the minute. I'm frustrated because everything's piled on top of each other and, you know, just to get to where I want to go, I'd have to move everything down, you know. So it's just not worth it. I'm just tending to use stash up that I can reach. Which is why I'm digging up some really strange things to crochet with, because it's what I can reach. That's another shawl, and where we got now? Oh, that's a collar. Oops, I hope you can see. I hope the light's not shining on them strangely. And that's loop knitting. I believe it's a shop in, excuse me, in London somewhere, but of course, because I never get to London, I would never go in it. My space this time is a lady called Rhiann Drinkwater. Oh no, Rhiann Drinkwater chats to Susan Pinner, who is the author of Granny Squares and the designer behind the upcoming Skelecraft Carousel Crochet Along. So that's an article about that lady. I mean, people say to me, why do you buy so many crochet books when you don't crochet half of them? I do enjoy reading the articles. I don't always, oh, I've got a hair in there. Don't always enjoy reading them at the time, but when I'm bored or in a hospital waiting room or something like that, I'll sit and read them on. That's a little cutie doll. That's a roll to keep your crochet hooks in. I think that's a cushion. Nice little bag and another cushion, I think. I do like this tapestry crochet. I must admit, I must have a go at that. And I do like that scarf. It looks nice and easy. You know, you could do that quite easily for gifts, couldn't you? And I really don't understand making a big donut cushion. I just wouldn't want that on my lounge anyway. But that's cute, that's a baby's cardigan. I think it goes up to about 12 months. Oh God, I've got the hairs in my mouth now. First of all it was in my eyes and now it's in my mouth. Yeah, the Ditsy Tea Time cardigan is done top down, I thought it was. I do apologise if I get chopped off, by the way, I forgot to charge the camera up. Yeah, that's the Florence cake, which they said Into the Sunshine or something, which, you know, it's an autumn cake to me. Although it doesn't really wrap over enough. Well, it wouldn't on me because I'm a big fluffy girl. Yeah, it's called a jersey scarf, that one. It's done sideways, which is a nice way of using up your bits, isn't it? Because you know if you've got enough, because you don't get to the end of the row, don't you? That's the Sunrise Stole. More Sue's kind of colours, not mine. I do like the Autumn Punch basket though. When the family have gone, I have this plan to use like lots of strands together and make a huge, like a big basket thing, big huge thing with handles on, you know, to keep the work that I'm work in progress that I'm working on. I've got a wicker basket on wheels, but it doesn't seem to hold as much. It's square and it's, well, it's not square, it's rectangular on wheels, but it doesn't seem to hold much and things go to the bottom and you can't find them. Whereas I think if it was a crochet basket, you know, if things went to the bottom you can rummage a lot better. Well, that's the cushion, Zinnia cushion. Well, it's only half of the cushion because you got a fabric back on it. I do like crochet cushions, but I would, you know, this hair's annoying me. I like them in brighter colours, yeah. Now that's cute because that's a starburst hook roll. You know, if you don't have an awful lot of hooks, then, you know, it's a place to keep them, isn't it? It gives you quite good instructions with pictorial pictures on how to do the starburst. As I said, that's the giant cushion. Oops, let me fold it. The thought of crocheting something that looks like that. Hours and hours and hours and hours. I would rather make a sweater. Sorry people, but I would. That's quite a nice tassel tote. I do have a slight problem when I'm doing like what I call, it's not Tunisian crochet, it's, what do you call it? Tapestry crochet. My patterns tend to slant. I mean, I have got a good book which I haven't really read by the lady who designed tapestry crochet or did a lot of it, telling you how to counteract this slanting business by going, you know, different stitches, and it just looked a bit complex for me. It's a bit like that Fish Lips Kiss heel. I look at all those like 94 pages or whatever it is and I go, ah. But to be quite honest, I'm sure that I've got old patterns, I mean talking vintage patterns, that have the same heel, but they're not called the Fish Lips Kiss heel and they're explained a lot smaller detail. I must look them up, because if they're not the same, they're almost the same. And I'm sure I've actually knitted socks with that heel, but it wasn't called that. That's called Beautiful Bridges. I'm a minimalistic pattern reader, I think I've told you that before. That's called Anil, the Ballerina Princess. I like patterns that say chain 6, do 2 rows double crochet, increase either side till you get to so much. Cast, you know, chain off or whatever you call it these days, finish. That's my kind of pattern. Not, you know, do 1 treble in every, or 1 double crochet into every stitch as you go along. Make 2 double crochets in the first one, go all the way along, make 2 double crochets in the last one. Then they give you another row of just double crochets, then they say repeat these 2 rows so many times until you reach such a stitch. No, you don't need all that. Just tell me to increase each end of every row till I get to 94 stitches or whatever. Just tell me that and I'm happy. I do not like patterns with too much detail. Maybe it's just me, maybe other people want all of that detail, I don't know. That's the baby cardigan. This is probably one reason why I've never even attempted to make a crochet pattern. Because I know full well if I ever did, I would get a zillion queries. How many rows do I do this? How do I increase? How do I do that? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll leave it to the people who want to do that. People who have a yen to make a pattern. That's quite nice, but it's not in the book. It's a pattern to buy, Stylecraft. People have this urge to make patterns. People make money out of doing patterns, which is great. Fine. This is why I have no problem paying for a nice pattern. You know, so many people say to me, oh, I wouldn't pay for a pattern, I wouldn't want to. And they search Ravelry for a free one, and then they're disappointed because it doesn't look like the one that the designer's made. The designer has spent hours upon hours of testing, doing, you know, writing it all out so that you'll understand it, getting other people to test it. I mean, it's only right that they get recompense for all of their hard work. So if I really want a pattern, I will buy it. But I do get offended when people say, will you copy it for me? No, I won't. I'm not diddling the designer out of her shoes for all the work she's done. If you like it that much, I'm sorry, you must buy it. Or choose something off Ravelry that's similar. That's Yarndale 2016. That reminds me of Erin, she loves anything with sheeps. Sheep, not sheeps, sheep. And that's an advert for Deramores, just showing blankets, I presume. 15% off your next order of Deramores. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not ordering anything at the minute. If you could see, I mean, the last